I have blue eyes. You have a new car. She has. Third person. Psst, Mr. Snake. S. Look at the spelling. H-A-S. She has a cat. He has a dog. It has 4 doors. We have a garden. You have a course, an English course. They have 3 children. Now the negative. I don't have blue eyes. You don't have a new car. She doesn't, look at the pronunciation, she doesn't have a cat. He doesn't have a dog. It doesn't have 4 doors. We don't have a garden. You don't have a course. They don't have 3 children. Okay? The question, do I have blue eyes? Do you have a new car? Does she have a cat? Does he have a dog? Does it have 4 doors? Do we have a garden? Do you have a course? And do they have 3 children? Okay, so that's the verb have. Don't forget the auxiliaries do and does. Now, another interesting thing about the verb have is that often we use it in special expressions which make up verbs with particular meanings. And in other languages, here in these situations, you hear make. Let me show you. We say to have breakfast, breakfast in the morning, to have lunch, 1 o'clock, and to have supper. So to have breakfast, to have lunch, to have dinner. Now dinner is what time? Dinner and supper, what's the difference? Dinner at 8 o'clock in the evening. Supper is something we have at about 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. All right? So we use the verb have for these. We don't say to have a breakfast, but to have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner, have supper. Other things, we say to have a cigarette. We say to have a cup of coffee, to have a drink of any sort. We also say to have a shower in the morning, to have a shower. In other languages, they use make a shower or make a bath, for example. But in English, we say to have a shower, to have a bath in the bathroom. We also say to have a rest. We say to have a party. Did you have a good party? We say to have fun, which means to have a good time. Okay? So these are very common expressions which we always use with the verb have. Introduced into the English language to describe possession, in fact. But now we use it in different situations, not only possession. So the Americans, in fact, use the verb have more than have got. In British English, we use have got a lot. All right, now let's have a look at the construction. So in the positive form, I have got gets contracted to I've got. I've got some money. You have got becomes you've got. You've got a scooter. She's got, she has, she's. Looks like the verb to be, but it is in fact has. She's got long hair. He's got a shop. It's got a balcony. We've got a house. You've got some CDs and they've got some plants. All right? So that's the positive. Now, the negative. In the negative, the auxiliary have turns into a negative auxiliary. So, I haven't got any money. You haven't got a scooter. He hasn't got long hair. She hasn't got a shop. It hasn't got a balcony. We haven't got a house. You haven't got any CDs. And they haven't got any plants. So hasn't and haven't. And then in the questions are easy. We use have or has. So, have I got any money? Have you got a scooter? Has she got long hair? Has he got a shop? Has it got a balcony? Have we got a house? Have you got some CDs? And have they got some plants? So it's not really difficult grammatically. We usually use the imperative form. What is the imperative? The imperative is just the infinitive form of the verb. So you can say, take the first left or the first right. Take, okay, that is just an infinitive. Take the first right or the first left. You could say, take a bus to, take a train to, take the subway. Now, in America, they say subway, and in Britain, we say tube. Take the tube to. Okay? Another example. Turn left, turn right. So turn is the verb. Turn left, turn right. Okay? Another possibility is go straight on, which is an expression we use in Britain, or go straight ahead, which is an expression that they use in America. But we use both. Straight on, straight ahead. All right? Then we can say go past the shop or go along the street, a road, or an avenue. Again, we use go, it's the infinitive, and it's the imperative form, all right? Another example. At the end, we can say the position. It's next to, it's near to, it's opposite, it's between, it's on the left, it's on the right. You remember the prepositions that we did at the beginning? Well, that's to indicate the actual spot. Great, so that's giving. Let's use some other examples related to the computer and the internet. Plug in the computer. Now you notice we use plug, which is the infinitive form, and we use it for both you, singular, and you, plural. So, plug in the computer, ding, switch it on, connect it to the internet, and bling, click on the internet icon. All right, so imperatives, they're all infinitive verbs. Now, the negative, if you want to use the negative of the imperative, we say do not, which is contracted as always in English, and we say don't click too many times, or don't press the exit button, or don't overload the desktop. Okay, so this is the negative, be in the past. When we talk about something specific in the past, let's look at the form. I was in New York last year. You were, see how it changes? You were at the party last night. He was at a meeting on Tuesday. I was, you were, he was, she was fine yesterday, for example. It was beautiful. We were at school on Monday, you were happy, and they were in London 2 weeks ago. So you see, I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, you were, they were. Be careful about that. It's easy to make a mistake. Now, what about the negative form? Well, was becomes wasn't. Listen to the pronunciation. Wasn't, wasn't, okay? So, I wasn't on time this morning. You weren't here yesterday. He wasn't at the party last night. She wasn't very happy. And it wasn't difficult, okay? We weren't at work on Saturday. You weren't on time for work. And they weren't on holiday last month. So wasn't and weren't. Question form, listen to these. Where was I yesterday? Where were you last night? Where were you last night? Where was he last week? Was she at work yesterday? Was it an easy test? When were we there? What time were you at school yesterday? And how often were they in class? So, same oil way. On we use with days or specific dates. So, the party was on Friday. Or he was in London on the 2nd of March. Okay, the date. Then in with a specific year or with months. So, for example, she was born in June in 1976. Next, last. Last with, for example, the previous week, last week or month or year. So the examples are, they were in Vienna last month. When? Now, when with a past time clause, sometimes in the question, sometimes in the middle of the phrase. So, I was very happy when I was a teenager. Okay, that's when. Then ago, for example, 2 days ago, 2 months ago, 3 years ago. We were at the meeting 3 weeks ago, right? And then the last one, easy, yesterday with the previous day. So I was at the cinema yesterday, all right?
Do you believe in ghosts? To believe in ghosts means you think that ghosts exist. If you do, then you say, I believe in ghosts. We say that a castle is haunted when it has a ghost or more than one. We say it's a haunted castle. Now, there are lots of different kinds of holidays, and the holiday Christine just told us about is an adventure holiday. Looking for ghosts in a castle is an adventure. But personally, I prefer beach holidays. They are definitely more relaxing. Or perhaps you prefer city holidays. A city holiday is when you visit a city. So let's look at some of the things you can do when you have a beach holiday. You lie on the beach in the sun and relax. This is called sunbathing. You go for a walk on the beach or go for a swim in the sea. Notice the expression go for. You can visit a local town. Local means that it's near the place where you are. What about when you have a city holiday? You can go on a city tour. A bus takes you on a tour round the tourist sites of the city. A tourist site is something that tourists want to see. For example, the Colosseum in Rome or Buckingham Palace in London. You can go for a walk around the city and visit the tourist sites. We call this sightseeing, and we say, go sightseeing. Just one last thing. Remember, there is a difference between travel and trip. To travel is a verb. When you go on holiday to a different city or country, you travel. A trip is a noun, and it's like a short holiday. You say, go on a trip. This means to go somewhere for a short time. For example, go on a trip to Scotland.
Ideas and opinions. What do you think about this idea? This is a good way to ask someone's opinion, or simply, what do you think? How about when you don't agree with someone's opinion? You can say, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. This is a polite way to say, I don't agree. If you do agree with someone, then you say, I agree with you. When we give our opinions, we usually start with I think or I don't think. The use of that after think is optional. So we can say, I think it is important, or I think that it is important. Another useful expression is I mean. And when we use it to explain our ideas better. Let me give you an example. Things are different today. I mean, women work now. So I say things are different, and then with I mean, I explain how they are different. What about the vocabulary we use to talk about the things that have changed in the last 50 years? Let's take healthcare. It's the protection a country gives to its people like doctors, hospitals, and medicines. These are all parts of healthcare. Another important thing is female emancipation, the freedom of rights that women have. And some things that we have in our houses now, which make our lives easier, are the washing machine. This is the machine that washes our clothes. The dishwasher, the machine that cleans the dishes, plates, and glasses. And the vacuum cleaner, the machine that cleans the floor. Before I say goodbye, I just want to look at a little word that we use a lot. It's lot. And we use it to express quantity. We can say a lot or lots of, and it means a big amount. We use it with verbs. We say a lot, and it comes after the verb. For example, today people travel a lot. And when we use it with nouns, we usually say lots of, and it comes before the noun. For example, there's lots of stress today. Well, that's all for me.